Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Kaiju number 8 video. Folks, many of you have been asking for a tier list. I said, give me some time. Let me get some of these under my belt, some of these characters tested. Let me get these characters up and usable, and then I'll let you guys know how I feel. Now, we've done that. We've gone ahead on my free-to-play account and actually used a lot of the characters, used some characters on friends' accounts, and also been able to now navigate myself throughout the game and understand which units are worth leveling and where they belong in terms of tier lists. So, without further ado, guys, we're going to jump in and cover every single character on this tier list and explain to you guys why they belong where they belong. And this is important because it's going to give you guys a general sense of what you want to do from beginning, middle to end game content. Right now, end game content at the moment currently is going to be Fierce Battle, which essentially is your tower system. So that is where a lot of your units are going to need to shine. But story mode, everything else is fairly easy to do. And then of course, some promotions here and there you're going to need to do as well too. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the tier list and talk a little bit about all the characters you should be focusing on and the ones that are going to serve you the most in regards to best units in the game. Okay, so we're going to do a couple different things. SS, of course, godly tier. Okay, that's the unit that you're going to put pretty much in every single team, the units that are going to pretty much shine in every single content, and the ones you want to strive for. S tier, right below, can still get most of it done, will not do as much damage, support, or tank as well as the SS, but still enough to completely finish the entire game. A units are going to be more niche, a little bit more support, will really feed off of the S and SS units, or will at least help them do better, but not necessarily going to be end game content units, but will support the end game content units for the most part to do well enough. B, again, very niche, desperate times, desperate measures. C and D, pretty much avoid. As a matter of fact, you know what we can do? We can probably remove D altogether because I don't think there's enough characters to even need a D. So we're going to go SS, S, A, B, and C. Okay, we're going to make it simple here, guys, and we're going to keep it as easy as possible so it's understandable to everybody. All right, so let's start from the bottom and then we're gonna work our way up. Now, I'm not gonna do much explanation on the bottom characters. Just know that really they don't bring much except for a couple different things. Now, there are elemental characters in this list, and those characters are the ones you're probably gonna want to think about a little bit in regards to at least focusing on them. But at the end of the day, realistically, they're not bringing enough to the table to really matter. So first off, we're gonna go ahead and put three or four units in here. Now, like I said, some of these are going to be elemental units, right? And some of them are going to be very much used seldomly. Like, you're going to look at them and you'll be like, maybe I want to level these characters up because blah, blah, blah. You don't want to, trust me. So these are the four units over here. And these units over here are as follows. It's going to be EG. It's going to be, who else do we have here on here? We have ourselves Tei. We have ourselves AO or AI or Kaguragi. And then we have, I think the other one here is Reno 4-star. So those are the ones that I'd say probably going to be considered some of the worst characters. I'd even go as far and say Haruchi even here as well too. You can probably add these 5 in here and just pretty much avoid them. Again, desperate times, desperate measures. The only really big way you're going to use these characters is if you have nothing else in stock and they're the highest dupes you've gotten. Sheer bad luck, right? So that's probably how that's going to work out, and I would keep these pretty much under leveled and under geared as much as possible. Don't waste your resources on them. Okay, now let's go over to the B tier. B tier, you're gonna have a little bit more fun with this guy, Kafka, because he actually does give you a lot of dupes from the beginner's guide. So he is usable to some extent because of that reason. You are gonna get quite a few copies of him. You're gonna be able to max him out. And if you need something to replace, a support shooter, he's actually not gonna be too bad in the game for you. Now, keeping in mind, like I said, if you go to the actual game and you check out his character, you are going to be able to max him out fairly easily due to the beginner's guide, and everybody really should be using the beginner's guide. When I say support unit, I honestly mean like he is really there just to do some damage, has 100% to do defense down, right? And this is what I mean by support. He's really not that good of a unit overall, but he does give advances, he does give defense down. So I consider him more of a support than I do a DPS than anything else, right? But he does transform into Kaiju and he does get a lot of defense and attack. So in that regard, he can do fairly decent damage, but overall, he's second rate compared to his full form. So I, again, consider him, he is a DPS technically, but I consider him more of a support because of the defense down. And that's really what I would use him for, but nothing else, honestly, outside of that. All right, Kikoru, she's the next one here in line. I'd say probably also considered B tier. I wouldn't go too much higher than that. Old man over here, pretty much me when I'm older. Yeah, that's right, I said it. So Keiji here is going to pretty much be the other unit here that's going to be on this list, and I'd probably maybe add one more, and that's Iharu. Iharu probably is the other one here. Now, Iharu obviously has lightning damage. He does have a little bit of dots, but honestly, again, doesn't bring enough to the table to really matter. So that's going to round up probably your B list. All right. Now let's go over to the C. Oh, actually, you know what? No, sorry, I take that back. There's one more unit I probably put in here, and that's Coda. Yeah, Coda's here is really not that good either. Again, does have ice, but you're really going to use Reno for ice anyways. And Reno pretty much has everything he has here, which is going to be the shooting plate, the ice element, and then just incredible DPS. So don't even worry about him. Your goal should essentially be going in for Reno anyways. Reno 5-star specifically, right? All right, let's go to the A's. Now, A's a little bit unique. Again, a couple of these units definitely belong here. Couple of these units are on the cusp of going over to S. We're going to start off with some of the characters here that are going to make a difference, specifically niche difference for a lot of your major units. So the first one here is going to be Soshiro A. Now, a lot of you guys might be like, he deserves S, but listen to me here. Let's just be real. He's here for one thing and one thing only, and that's his buddy buffs, right? And right now, his buddy buffs are the best for Reno. So if Reno is going to be used, then he absolutely goes up to S. If Reno's not going to be used, then he kind of sits in A. He still gives really good buddy buffs. And by buddy buffs, what I mean essentially is, and I'll show you guys this in a future video, of course, is how to set up the teams. But if you look over here and under his kit, right now I have him at level 60, you can see some of his skills here give something called battle buddy, right? So you can see if the target is battle buddy, randomly removes the debuff from that person. Over here you guys can see after attacking applies speed 2 turns to battle buddy. So again, I'll show you guys how all this works. And then of course over here you guys can see if SP is 1 or lower, applies crit damage to the battle buddy. If SP is 2 or higher, applies speed. So incredible buffs. But realistically, that's all he's used for, right? He's there for that and that reason only. He does have other things that go for him, obviously. This unit's and battle buddy's normal damage attack is 20%. After activating combat, applies 15%. So again, if you plan to put anybody with him there, he's just going to make them shine. But like I said on my tier list, he is going to be the A section is really niche, or not niche, is there to support your top tier character. So I mean, ideally we could put him here. We can leave him there, and I will. So we'll do something else. We'll put Mina down 1. These are the 2 that I had going on here. I was gonna pick one of the 2 for sure in that section, but we'll put Soshiro up 1, and we'll put Mina down 1. I think that's a fair thing. Mina does give morale and a lot of damage up, but she doesn't give as much battle buddy stuff as Soshiro does, right? Okay, so we're gonna do that right there. That'll be the setup. Now, Akari is going to be the only healer in the game currently that I know of. If there is anybody else, let me know, but I'm pretty sure she's the only one. So in that regard, she's there for one reason only, keeping your units alive. Honestly, you really don't need her. If you can out level and out DPS, most of the time she's just going to sit there, but she is pretty useful on content that's a little more difficult, right? And then here, I'm going to put in Rin. She's great for AoE. The problem is she's outshined by other AoE units. So this kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to put her in that slot whatsoever. Okay, so we're going to put her right there instead, and Rin will sit in that slot. And then up here, I'm going to go in and put Rio right there. Okay, his buffs are incredible, absolutely deserves it. So those 2 I think are going to be the best buffers. Mina's very close a second. I didn't put Rin over here. Honestly, I'd be like that. I think that's probably fair. Okay, now in the S section, Kikoru 5-star, Ozero 5-star, and honestly, this is tough. I think she deserves to be over here. Mina 5-star probably deserves to be over here. I think Mina's probably a bit better than Rin, so I'd probably put them here. Yeah, together. I think that's probably a fair assessment. You can even technically argue this. So you guys can see here, some of the 4-stars are actually really good. So that leaves room for your top SSS characters. SSS characters, right? So these are the characters that are going to be the ones to carry the entire game, practically, and they're going to go as follows. All right, so early to middle to end game, Gen is the best. Gen or Jen. I don't know which one. I apologize, guys. It's one of the 2. I haven't seen the anime, so I just used the characters, right? So he's incredible for a couple of reasons. Incredible DPS, double breaks on physical, both shooter and stabbing. So he's got both of those in there. Next up, we're going to put Reno right over here. And then Reno's pretty much going to be your main DPS for quite some time with Gen. So these guys are going to pretty much rock the entire place. And then you have 2 survival DPSs here in ISO. The ISO is apparently, I honestly haven't used him very much, but I know end game content, he is an absolute monster and a must have for sure. And then of course, Kaiju No.8. So this is probably going to round up your entire tier list here, guys, that I think is probably going to be the most accurate one that I've been able to put together so far. So if you're a fan of this tier list, let me know in the comment section. I'd appreciate you guys. Let me know your suggestions on it and why you would change things if you would. This is Payne. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.